There were questions aplenty asked at Football London Towers in our weekly Tottenham Hotspur web chat, as fans asked plenty of poses about the likes of Everton's Ross Barkley, PSG's Serge Aurier, Fulham's Ryan Sessegnon and much more. Ajax defender Davinson Sanchez completed his medical at Hotspur Way today as the finalisation of his club record move to Spurs draws near, and there were questions about his work permit. Our Tottenham writer Alistair Gold answered as many of the supporters' questions posed on Twitter and Facebook as he could during the two-hour session. He was also asked plenty about the Chelsea match, the standoff with Toby Alderweireld's contract, the atmosphere on Sunday at Wembley, and plenty about the remainder of the summer transfer window. Ryan Sessegnon has been linked with Spurs all summer. Image Glyn Kirkap Getty Images. With 9 days left of the window, there is still plenty of time for Spurs boss Mauricio Pochettino to get the 4 players HES said he wants to bolster his squad for the coming campaign. We've got all the questions asked and the answers below. 17:19, almost 2 hours of Spurs goodness and badness there. Thanks for all your questions, and if we've missed out anything that you asked, please do ask it again next week or put it to me. Alistair Gold on Twitter, 1715. I firmly believe they'll beat Burnley on Sunday. I think the Wembley thing has been used as an excuse for just some poor finishing in recent matches. 1714. Will Spurs win any games at Wembley this year? 1712. Spurs are a team of beasts. We seem to dominate mostly in defensive set-piece situations, but in attacking senses, the likes of Alderweireld and Dier should probably score more than they do. And Vertonghen, he has scored in 3 years. Is it him? Not sure what the answer is on that one really, because they are players who should be throwing themselves at efforts. Perhaps Eriksen's corners have been the problem. 1709. Given the height strength of most of our players, why aren't we more dominant on set pieces? Alex Johnson at Mr. Johnson 915. August 22, 2017. 1707. Of course it made perfect sense for Poch to do it. He needed their experience over Walker Peters and Winks, but they just didn't look fit. Wanyama looked rusty and Trippier looked scared to attack the ball too much in the Chelsea half. We just don't know how fit they were to begin with. 1705. Do you think it was a mistake to start Wanyama and Trippier against Chelsea so soon after injury? I think they were the weak link on Sunday. Never seen Wanyama give the ball away so much, pains me to say, as I thought he was superb last year. 1703. The bigger the club you are, the more people set up to frustrate you. Spurs are now one of the big boys in terms of league finishes, so they had to find ways through. Poch experimented with new tactics last season and HES doing the same again this year. His main problem is a lack of width without Danny Rose and Kyle Walker to call upon. Width stretches compact opponents and he needs to sort that issue out, whether it be at fullback or in midfield. 1701. Will more teams decide to park the bus like Chelsea when they play Spurs this season? What tactics do you think Poch will against this? The Angry Morp at The Angry Morp. August 22, 2017. 1658. Poch has conceded that for him it's all about the Premier League and Champions League this season. The FA Cup and especially the League Cup will be where we see some of the younger talents. 1657. How do you think Poch will use their youth and or young players on the cusp of making the first 11? Will he leave them for domestic cup games or for play Champions League games or both? 1654. However, it's possibly the hardest to bring in people for. Even Poch admitted that last month he couldn't sell the club to Alvaro Morata a couple of years ago, because he knew he couldn't displace Harry Kane. Kane's only got better since then. If Spurs bring in another striker, it would have to be another young player like Janssen that is not the finished article and is willing to be patient. 1652. Are we looking at bringing in any striker backup to Harriet Kane? Tim Holt at Holt_Tim. August 22, 2017. 1650. The club said it would be several weeks before he was back in training ahead of the Newcastle game. I haven't heard anything different since, and fingers crossed this isn't another false dawn as Spurs could do with the other attacking option he brings. 1648. Alistair, when is Eric Lamela likely to return? 1646. Ricardo Pereira was a player heavily linked with Spurs and all the fans were desperate for him, but as far as I understand it, Poch just wasn't entirely sold on the deal. I hear he wasn't convinced the money being asked for was right for the player. Aurier is certainly a target, while Jeremy Toljan was also looked at before Dortmund moved. 1643. A right back is needed in my opinion. Why did the Pereira deal never get done? Who else is on the radar besides Aurier? Patrick Taylor at Patrickle_Taylor. August 22, 2017. 1637. There have been some rumours that the City youngster is Spurs bound, but that's jumping the gun a bit. Sancho is a player Spurs are interested in, but I understand his camp are looking to help his exit from City and the speculation is playing its part. But a move to Spurs has not been agreed. 165 What's going on with Jadon Sancho? 1633 I think Dier is more accomplished as a midfielder, so I think his main competition will continue to be more Victor Wanyama. Sanchez can play central defence or right back at a push, so he'll put pressure on Alderweireld and Vertonghen I feel, or slot into a back three. 1632 Could Sanchez be a potential replacement for Dier come next summer? Versatility seems to cover the same positions. Alex Johnson at Mr. Johnson 915 August 22, 2017 1630 I understand that while Spurs attempted to get Sessegnon earlier in the summer before he signed his new deal in June, they are not considering making another bid for the teenager's services. He's a player the club are very interested in, but I reckon he will be one for a future transfer window. 1628 With Fulham signing a new left-back, would that suggest there might be a deal to have with Ryan Sessegnon at all if the price is right? 1626 Every time I've seen him play in the flesh, mostly against Spurs, he's been excellent and has run the match at times. I can see a player that Poch can develop in him, and I think he'd provide genuine competition for Ali and Eriksen. Mahrez has been offered around a lot of club, I understand, but I think with him it's the situation where if one club does move, other more financially powerful ones will enter the battle. 1625 Injury aside, what's your opinion on Ross Barkley as a player? Good signing, or do you think someone like Mahrez would be a better addition? 1622 Poch is not a fan of width from his attackers. He wants that to come from his fullbacks, but Trippier looked subdued and half-fit, and Davies, although he's improved a lot, is just not as good going forward as he is at defending. Spurs struggled to pull Chelsea across the pitch and everything was congested in the middle. Poch needs to either change his tactics, bring in a winger, hope Rose comes back soon, use Walker-Peters or bring in a fullback. A 2.1620 Chelsea defended deep and well. Eriksen and LA kept out. What could we have done differently to get a win? Life_D__ at life_D__ August 22, 2017 1619 Kevin Wimmer is on his way out. West Brom appears to be the favourites and are in talks with Spurs, but Palace and Stoke are also interested. With the way the end of the transfer window works, situations suddenly arise to bring people in, which means suddenly certain players are pushed out to get their wish to move on. The likes of Gaudu, Sissoko and Janssen are probably all in the category of sticking around unless someone else is coming in that pushes them even further down the pecking order. Poch doesn't seem to trust Gaudu and Janssen, so perhaps they are the most likely to go, but finding another striker to play second fiddle to Harry Kane is a tough ask. 1617 Will there be any more Spurs players leaving this window other than Wimmer? 1616 I wrote a piece the other day where I said that while Lloris saves the team constantly with amazing, world-class saves, he does sometimes make silly mistakes in the big matches, which is why perhaps he's not put at the top table with the likes of Buffon, Neuer and maybe De Gea. He was so disappointed with himself after the match against Chelsea, and it's hard to lay into someone who has been Spurs' saviour on so many occasions.